This is the same car,
Yeah.
the first Street Roadster.
with
Okay.
white walls on it, no less.
Love the white
Still
walls.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, love the white walls.
Wow.
We took the moon caps off.
We set some records in C Street Roadster. And about that time, we decided that I had enough success with it, so we parked it, and I sold the Roadster, put a stock Buick in it, and one of Tom Jobe's acquaintances at the time worked at Engel Cams, and I knew Jack for quite a while, and he came over and he brought Glenn Ford's son, who bought the Street Roadster that day.
Glenn Ford is in Glenn Ford, the actor?
Yes.
Oh,
Wow. Okay, I don't know, guys.
you're more
I'm from
connected
San
than-
Diego.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't mind me.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was fun. He drove it and drove it away. So I took that money, and Keith had a Willys that he was going to do, but the guy didn't have any money. And about that time, Chuck Gareth was running out. Chuck Gareth had this 354 with Dave Carpenter. And Chuck was driving some boats for Keith.
Uh-huh.
And he, anyway, decided that Keith told him that, something's not right. It was smoking the tires. The car was too heavy. So Greer had bought it. Had bought the chassis, and they were going to do some work. But about that time, Louis Center wanted some machinery. And evidently, they made a deal. And it was Kent Fuller's car that Stuckey was driving. I don't know when he got burned up after that, I think. I'm not sure. Do you know? Remember, Mr. Prieto?
When it happened?
Half Moon Bay, I think. Huh?
We have a side Bible over here.
Yeah. You got to come in here and just kind of come on over here and say hi. Come into the camera. Okay.
Anyway,
Okay, this is Don Prieto.
They,
We're using his shop here, which we really appreciate, Don. Thank you so much for allowing us to do this. This is great. We're rolling now, guys. We're
Okay.
rolling.
And we got his memory.
Anyway,
Yes.
Garrett didn't drive, so Stuckey, Keith was building a motor for this car, and about that time, Stuckey thought he was going to get rich and take it on tour with Keith's motors in it. Back east, drag racing was just really starting to match race deal.
Right.
And Keith said, no, that ain't going to work out. Anyway, about that time, Stuckey left. Keith and I took that car to Kent Fuller, and Wayne Ewing's shop was right next door. And that's how that started. Fuller said, you got a driver for it? And he said, no. He said, well, I got a driver. And his name was Don Prudhomme.
Wow.
So,
Fair driver in his own right. Yeah.
and it's funny because that first time, we got the car ready, took the car out, had no lettering on it, I think Snake painted the car. Snake was painted cars. That's what he
Right.
did. I used to go out in the valley, the different shops. He'd move from different shops painting cars.
Right. Now, where is that taken?
This
That
picture
shot?
was taken at Pomona.
Okay.
By K. Trout.
By K-Trap. Right.
You know
I'm
that
familiar.
name?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Anyway, that's had no lettering on it, and fired it up, ran it around, weighed it.
What a beautiful car.
Anyway, that was Wayne Ewing body. I don't know how many kids he had by then, but by the time he quit, he had 10 or 12.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to ask anything about that.
Tom, what do you think?
But anyway,
Well, did this car came before that car? This
yes,
the
exactly. This
Gareth
car came
and
before
Carpenter
that.
car.
And I had a partner who wanted to go drag racing.
Okay.
His name was Joe Purcell.
Yep.
He had never driven a dragster before. So we got this car and we ran it a few times. That's my engine in there. Okay.
And what is that
We
for
stepped up
specifically?
from the-
Is it
yeah.
92,
This is
54?
392.
It's a 92, okay.
Okay.
Were you running it on fuel?
We ran it on fuel, probably about 50% at the time, because that's all, the tires would light up as soon as you let the clutch out.
Right.
And ran that for a while and didn't do very good with it. So,
But you learned, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
This is such a beautiful car, though, because there's pinstriping, and then the front motor mounts are cut down rods,
Yes.
connecting rods.
Good job.
It's just a beautiful car. They're polished. I mean,
yes.
it wasn't just a race car. It was a nice piece.
Yes.
So-
Anyway, the
Good job,
fact
thank you.
that, Purcell wanted to drive. So anyway, at that time, Doc McGann was running a drag boat called the Golden Thing, and he'd come out with Keith and us when he was an orthopedic surgeon, and he decided that after talking to different people, and Moody and Don Moody and Carol Davis, Stump, were building a car at Screama's. Screama worked in his house too. And they had a young kid that used to live in the neighborhood that would come there and kind of watch all the guys like Tom Jobe and Gene Adams.
Pat Foster.
Pat Foster.
That's who
Wow.
it
Pat
was.
Foster wouldn't say a word.
He'd,
He'd stand by the garage door and just watch. He
Really?
wouldn't even walk in.
Really?
and
Wow.
little did we know that
He was learning.
he was learning.
Yeah.
paying attention.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting.
So
Very good.
So
Anyway.
is this car and this car has got to be the same car?
that's the same car.
I mean, it's just lettered.
yeah.
This one says Gareth and Carpenter, and this one says
Bruce-
Broussard and Purcell,
Yes.
which is the car I remember.
That car had the record at 827.
Good job. Thank you for the input.
Hey, there's that record
Okay.
book right there.
Good job.
Anyway, we got Stump and Moody had an Oldsmobile. Stump was still in love with Oldsmobiles, and then Doc McGann propositioned Moody, being an Okie, he decided he could relate to him. You know.
Oh, McGann was an Okie too?
Oh yeah. So
That's great.
he said, Danny, would you help him if we put the engine into the Golden Thing into the drag race car? Well, this was a light car, as Tom can attest to it. I think it was 3 of them.
Adams and Stewart,
Adams and Stewart,
Moody Davis, and
somebody
I
else.
wasn't involved in the third one, so I don't remember. But
Tom made the front wheels for that race car. Anyway, we pretty successful with it. Ran it very, very quick. And we went out to Pomona one day. I think we won a couple of races. McGann couldn't go that day. And we went out to Pomona, and Moody made a qualifying run and qualified the car. And next thing I know, I see Purcell getting in the car with his helmet. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, Moody said I could just try it for half a track maybe. So, okay. So they tried it, except that it was quicker and faster than he had ever been before. And somehow the throttle stuck.
Uh-oh. God.
The fact that he wasn't familiar with the race car and he was bigger than Moody, by the time he got to the finish line, he was still under acceleration. So he popped the parachute, which went right off. He went down Pomona, trying to hit the brakes. We could hear him, but at Pomona they had a road course.
Yeah.
You go around the road course underneath the bridge.
Mhm.
Well, when he got to the curb, he tried to make that turn, except that it had gravel. The next thing I know, the car is sliding sideways all the way to the fence, hit the fence, the back of the car broke off. Purcell went over the highway, whatever that road is, onto the golf course. We got down there. I thought he was naturally fatally injured. Buzz, my arm hurts.
Oh, you're
I said,
kidding.
what? He's sitting in the cage, you know.
Oh,
I guess it did what it's supposed to do, got him away from the motor,
wow.
you know. And Next thing we know, we had to call McGann because we crashed his motor and Moody's race car, and we went to Pomona Valley Hospital. McGann was working at West Covina as an orthopedic surgeon, and I think he owned probably half of it. And so he left there and went to the Pomona, and he operated on Purcell for 6 hours and saved his arm. That was the major part of it. And naturally he had shock and he was swollen up, but anyway.
Amazing.
That's how that started.
Who built that frame? Who built that car? Do you remember?
Ronnie Screamer.
Oh, it was Ronnie. Ronnie built that frame. Okay.
And here's two
Yeah.
pictures of that car with Doc McCann's Chrysler in it.
Yeah. The golden thing, the drag boat.
Oh, so that's okay. That's out of the
That's-
golden thing. Okay.
That's the car that crashed Pomona.
And this is the Moody Davis car that started out as an Oldsmobile. First pass it ever made was an absolute record for elapsed time. Maybe speed. For sure,
Really?
it was the ET record for the gas class.
Which track do you remember?
Long Beach.
At Long
First
Beach,
pass
okay.
it ever made.
Wow.
It ran an 850, and everybody was falling out of the stand. Wow,
Wow.
that's
Wow.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And this is right at the end of the fuel ban.
Right.
So Long Beach might have still been on gas at that point, were they?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, anyways, at the tail end of the gas or the fuel ban,
Yeah.
and it just everybody just, oh my God, this is just tremendous. We
That's
can't
the
believe
kind of excitement that you went to the drag races for.
Oh,
You didn't
absolutely.
exactly know what was going to happen next, and there were times
Every
when
week
you
there was
just
something new.
amazing.
it. Oh
things
yeah,
happened.
we're all hanging on the fence. Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what brought us, all of us.
Anyway, as growing up in L.A., the fact that, like I said, we were like South Central. I mean, you had Offenhauser factory was on Gage Avenue. We had Ito Automotive on Dinker. You had
Howard on Central.
Paisano, I
Romania.
think, had a little. Scotty was down on Slauson. Louis was on Normandy. You had, and my hero was on Wilmington Avenue, Chrisman and Sons Garage.
Yeah.
I used to hang on that thing he had across the front and look inside.
Really. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a wonderful time. What a wonderful time, you guys. You know, you think about today and you miss that so much. And I know I do, and I know you do. And
Well, and the names that just all the names he said, they were just guys working for a living that had this passion for drag racing. And, you know, they had garages and they had gas stations, and a guy worked in a grocery store, and another guy was a doctor, but they had this one abiding passion, is trying to get from one end to the other faster than the other guy. And it's incredible. And now the names are, that he said, most of them are well-respected names in the industry because of that love of drag racing
right.
Anyway,
and the advancements.
Little side note: when you go
Yes.
driving around with Buzz, you go driving around that part of the east side of LA.
Yep.
You go along, and he says, "Yeah, that used to be such and such a shop. That's where I got my Roadster painted."
Looks like we got to go on the road, huh? Okay.
I mean, all legendary names.
Howard was forever on Main Street.
Still is.
Howard,
Still is.
Yeah.
That's
The
where
rod- the
Bobby
rod
is,
business
right?
is still on Main Street.
there's another, probably guys don't remember, is Tony Campagna. Will Cap. Used to buy the
Okay.
nitro. Little,
Well, the
Cans.
routine you guys had during the week to me is fascinating in itself.
I had
What
the
you guys
plaster.
did
I had
from
plaster.
the weekend to the next weekend, to me was.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to hear about that. You know, the routine you guys had, where you went, to me is interesting
Well,
also.
if you later on,
Yeah.